Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how I created this peachy eye look. I started out with prepping my skin. I used a Tatcha Ageless Revitalizing Eye Cream and massaged this all over my lid and under eye. To moisturize the rest of my face, I used the Indigo Soothing Triple Recovery Cream. I concentrate this mostly on my T-zone. I do get the most dry in those areas. Also, to moisturize, I went ahead and used the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. This thing is amazing and makes your skin super soft and silky. For this look, I'm going to start out with the eyes. I used the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Macadamia. I believe I am saying that right. Correct me if I'm not. And I just used this concealer so the eyeshadow has something to grasp onto. Just kind of creating a base for it. I'm using the La Mercier translucent powder to set my eyes. For the shadow, I went in with the Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. I used the color Sorbet and used this as my transition shade. I'm just going to be using circular and windshield wiper motion to blend that color into my crease and a little bit above my crease as well. Repeating the same steps on the other eye. You want to make sure you are blending your shadows. I used the color Peachy on my crease. You want to do the same blending method. Windshield wiper moves as well as circular, or whichever really works best for you. These two methods work the best for blending my eyeshadow. I went in and defined a crease on my inner corner a little bit and just blend out that peachy color so I can blend in with Sorbet. The reason why you see me raising my eyebrows up the way I do is just because I have really hooded eyelids. So this just kind of helps me guide and have a cleaner canvas to work with my eyeshadows. Not dipping into any more color, I use the eyeshadow brush I used for my transition color. I'm just blending Peachy onto my upper crease. Just want to make sure I don't have any harsh lines. Using cinnamon, I'm going to be placing that on the outer crease, making a V shape. To blend everything together, I used the same brush I used for my transition color. For my lid, I used this Color Chrome eyeshadow by Model's Own in the shade Golden Lights 04. I just pressed this with my finger onto my eyelid. I'm not being precise with this color, I'm just kind of dabbing it onto my lid. I did go in with a blending brush to blend the edges. After I blended out my edges, I did receive some fallout, so you see me here wiping it off with a makeup wipe. I am using Cypress Umber from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette as a liner. Using the YSL primer, I'm gonna be placing this all over my T-zone area. It has a little bit of sparkle, so I feel like it gives a little bit of more hydration look. And like I said before, I do get really dry on my T-zone area. Moving to my brows, I am going to be using this NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the color black. I outlined the shape of my brows with this pencil, as well as create hair-like strokes. I like to keep the front of my brow lighter than the tail of my eyebrow, so I just barely put any pressure on the front of my brow when I'm using that pencil. I then go in with the Soft Brown Brow Powder Dual by Anastasia, and I just go ahead and fill in the rest of my brow. Again, just keeping it very light at the beginning of the brow and going darker at the end. Now to set my eyebrows, I'm using this glue. I'm just kidding. It's the clear brow gel, but I'm telling you, it does act like a glue. My brows do not budge. Going back in with my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the same shade Macadamia, I'm concealing my dark circles. I like doing this step before doing my foundation when I go in for a more natural look. Using a booty blender, as Patrick Star calls it, I'm blending out my concealer. For foundation today, I'm going in with the Makeup Forever Water Blend Foundation in the shade Y405. For this particular foundation, I like using a brush rather than a beauty blender. I just find that using a brush gives you more of a fuller coverage than the beauty blender does. This is a water-based foundation, so using that beauty blender is not that great just because it's going to be soaking up more product than the brush would. Now, I do want to say this foundation is not meant to be full coverage. It's more of a light coverage. It's buildable to a medium, but I would say mostly just light coverage. After I do lay down my foundation, I like to go in with a beauty blender just to make sure I don't have any streaks. This is perfectly fine with this foundation just because you've already put the main base on and you're just blending it in, making sure you don't have any streaks from that foundation brush. After I blend, I go in with my beauty blender and kind of unwrinkle the creases that my under eye had created and setting it with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I use the same powder to set the rest of my face. While I was setting the rest of my face, I gave my under eyes a little bit time to bake. So now I'm just going to go ahead and use a stippling brush to dust off the excess powder. Going back in with the Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadow palette, I'm going to be using the color Sandy. And I'm going to be placing that color on my lower lash line. And kind of just blending it a little bit lower. Going back in with cinnamon, we're going to be putting this on the outer portion of your eye on the lash line and connecting it to the cinnamon that you had already placed before on your crease. For mascara today, I'm going to be using two different ones. I'm going to be using the Big Shot by Maybelline and Superhero by IT Cosmetics. I ended up getting mascara on my face after my foundation, but that's okay. Just let it sit there until it dries. Using the Becca x Jaclyn Heal palette, I'm going to be going in with the Prosecco Pop highlighter and putting this on my inner corners as a highlight. I then decided it was a little bit too gold, so I decided to go in with the Champagne Pop color. I put this on my inner corner and also on my brow bone.
It looks like I have a mascara on my face, but it's just that mascara is still drying.
When it finally dries, you're able to just flake it off and you can use a spoolie. So still using the Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop, I'm just mixing both of them together and placing them on my cheekbones. I like creating a C shape on my face, so just on my cheekbone, and then I connect it up to above my eyebrow. I don't show this anywhere on the video, but I do also go in with the highlighter on the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow, and I put a little bit, just a little tiny bit on my chin. I don't want to look oily, but I do want to look glowy. Then I go in with the Hoola Benefit bronzer. I use this to kind of slightly bronze my face and contour at the same time. I think this is the perfect shade to do that with. It's just so versatile.
Contour that double chin.
Still using the Becca x Jaclyn Heal palette, I'm going to be using Amaretto and putting that on the apple of my cheeks and blending it back towards my hairline.
Adding a little bit more of Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop, making that highlighter pop, pop, pop.
And then to melt all the powders we just put on our face, I'm going to be using the Luminous Dewy Skin Mist by Tatcha. Then going in with the Booty Blender, I'm just going to mesh everything together, make sure everything's seamless. Make sure I don't have any water drops from the spray that we just sprayed. Okay, and for my lips, I'm going to be using 2 different products. I'm going to start out with the KKW by Kylie Cosmetics Lippy. And it's in the shade Kimmie. Now this is my favorite shade out of the whole kit, just because I think it goes the best with my skin tone. I then go on with the Buxom White Russian Full-On Lip Cream.
Time to fix my
Ow.
hair.
So this is the finished look. I hope you guys liked it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!